Thank you for coming. Since there are so many children present, I'll give a very brief introduction as to what I'm wearing. This is called a kilt. And there's another gentleman over here. John Glynn is also wearing one. And this is a traditional Scottish dress for men and boys. And it's only worn on special occasions. You wouldn't go to school wearing something like this, and you wouldn't go hiking. Well, you might go hiking. But you wouldn't go swimming in something like this. But you'd wear it to go to church or go to a special party or dinner or something like that. And this plaid or tartan, this one is Macpherson. John, what is yours?
Black Stewart.
That's Black Stewart. Yeah, and each one is different. I see a lady there with McDonald. That's Red McDonald. And there's another McDonald at the back there. No, you. There's a red one here, and yeah. And Peggy, my wife, she's also wearing the Macpherson plaid. And there's a little book of tartans over there on the display there. And I opened it to the Macpherson page. And there are 3 or 4 different versions of the Macpherson plaid there that you can look at. Anyway, without further ado, everything today is by Robert Burns. Robert Burns was born January 25th, 1759, in the little town of Alloway in Ayrshire. He was born into a farming family, and he grew up very much a child of nature. And he was very much influenced in some of the things he wrote by some of the things he encountered in nature when he was out either walking or plowing a field or just listening to the birds singing or looking at little flowers or whatever. And that comes across in his poetry. As he matured into adulthood, he also became very fond of the ladies. And he penned many, many love songs. And there's a selection in the middle which is they're all love songs. The song I'm going to start with is called Scots Wha Hae, and that's a song about Scottish history. In 1314, the Scottish under King Robert the Bruce finally defeated the English and gained their independence. This was around about the same time as William Wallace of Braveheart fame. He was actually a little bit before Bruce. Well, they were around the same time, but Wallace died first. And because of Wallace's efforts, Bruce was able to gain the throne and kick the English out of Scotland. And this song celebrates the fact that the Scots who have with Wallace bled and with Bruce have been led by Bruce, finally gained their liberty and their independence from Edward, the Hammer of the Scots, Edward II of England. Scots Wha Hae. Scots wha hae wi Wallace bled, Scots whom Bruce has often led. Welcome to your gory bed, or to victory. Now's the day and now's the hour, see the front of battle lower, see approach proud Edward's power, chains and slavery. Wha will be a traitor knave? Wha can fill a coward's grave? Wha sae base as be a slave? Let him turn and flee. Wha for Scotland's king and law, freedom's sword will strongly draw. Freeman stand or freeman fall, let him follow me. By oppression's woes and pains, by our sons in servile chains, we will drain our dearest veins, but they shall be free. Lay the proud usurper low, tyrants fall in every foe, liberties in every blow, let us do or die. The second song is about herding sheep. It's Ca the Yows to the Nows, and it means drive the ewes to the little knolls and hills where they can romp in the heather and drink the streams and all that fun stuff. Ca the Yows to the Nows. Ca the yows tae the nows, ca them where the heather grows, ca them where the burnie rouse. My bonny dearie, Will ye gang down the waterside and see the waves that sweetly glide? 'Neath the hazel spreading wide, the moon it shines full clearly. Ca the yows tae the nows, ca them where the heather grows, ca them where the burnie rouse, my bonny dearie. While waters wimple to the sea, while day blinks in the lift sea, till clay called death shall blind my ye, you'll always be my dearie. Ca the yows tae the nows, ca them where the heather grows, ca them where the burnie rouse, my bonny dearie. Now a selection of poetry, again inspired by Robert Burns and What He Saw in Nature. This particular poem, To a Mouse, he wrote this after he turned a mouse out of her nest in November of 1785 when he was out ploughing a field. And he felt so distraught about having destroyed this little mouse's home, he wrote this poem. It has a very famous line in the next to last verse, and just listen for it and you'll know it when you hear it. Wee sleekit coorin timorous beastie, oh, what a panic's in thy breastie. Thou needna run a wassy hasty wi' bicker and brattle. I would be loath to run and chase thee wi' murder and pattle. I'm truly sorry man's dominion has broken nature's social union and justifies that ill opinion which makes thee startle at me, thy poor earth-born companion and fellow mortal. I doubt na whiles that thou may thieve. What then, poor beastie, thou must live. A demonicker in a thrave's a sma' request. I'll get a blessing with what's left and never miss it. Thy wee bit housey too in ruin, its silly walls the winds are strewing, and nothing now to build a new one, O Foggage Green, and bleak December's winds ensuing, baith snell and keen. Thou saw the fields laid bare and waste, and weary winter coming fast, and cosy here beneath the blast. Thou thought to dwell, till crash, the cruel coulter passed out through thy cell. That wee bit heap o' leaves and stibble has cost thee many a weary nibble. Now thou's turned out for all thy trouble, but house or hold, to thole the winter's sleety dribble and cranroich cold. But, mousie, thou art no thy lane, in proving foresight may be vain. The best laid schemes o' mice and men gang off to gley, and leave us naught but grief and pain for promised joy. Still, thou art blessed compared with me, the present only toucheth thee. But oh, I backward cast my ee on prospects drear, and forward, though I canna see, I doubt and fear. 6 months later, in April of 1786, he is out ploughing a field again. And this time he turns up a little daisy, which is growing in the field, turns it up, and obviously he kills it. And he's very touched by this, and he again pens another poem. And this one is called To a Mountain Daisy. Wee modest crimson-tipped flower, thou's met me in an evil hour, for I must crush among the store thy slender stem. To spare thee now is past my power, thou bonny gem. Alas, it's no thy neighbour meet, the bonny lark companion meet, bending thee mang the dewy wheat with speckled breast, when upward splinging blithe to greet the purpling east. Cold blew the binter biting north upon thy earthly humble birth, yet cheerfully thou glinted forth amid the storm, scarce reared above the parent earth thy tender form. The flaunting flowers our gardens yield, high sheltering walls and woods must shield, but thou beneath the random bield o' clod or stain, adorn the histy stubble field, unseen, alone. There in thy scanty mantle clad, thy snowy bosom sunward spread, thou lifts thy unassuming head in humble guise. But now the plough uptears thy bed, and low thou lies. Such is the fate of artless maid, sweet floweret of the rural shade, by love's simplicity betrayed, and guileless trust, till she, like thee, all soiled is laid low in the dust. Such is the fate of simple bard, on life's rough ocean luckless starred, unskilled he to note the card of prudent lore, till billows rage and gales blow hard, and whelm him o'er. Such fate to suffering worth is given, who long with wants and woes has striven, by human pride or cunning driven, to misery's brink, till quenched of every stay but heaven, he ruined sink. Even thou who mourn'st the daisy's fate, that fate is thine, no distant date. Stern ruin's plowshare drives elate, full on thy bloom, till crushed beneath the furrow's weight, shall be thy doom. Not exactly a happy ending. This next poem is called Macpherson's Farewell. And this is about a gentleman named Macpherson who was about to be hanged. I'm not sure what his crime was, but my ancestors, not my personal ancestors, but my clan, we were noted sheep stealers. That's what we did. We stole a lot of sheep. And I guess we made a lot of mutton pies and things like that. But anyway, this guy got caught, and he was betrayed, and he's about to be hanged. Farewell, ye dungeons dark and strong, the wretch's destiny. Macpherson's time will not be long on yonder gallows tree. Say rantingly, say wantonly, say dauntingly gait he. He played a spring and danced it round below the gallows tree. Oh, what is death but parting breath on many a bloody plain? I've dared his face, and in this place I scorn him yet again. Untie these bands from off my hands, and bring to me my sword, and there's no a man in all Scotland but I'll brave him at a word. I've lived a life of sturt and strife, I die by treachery. It burns my heart, I must depart, and not avenged be. Now farewell light, thou sunshine bright, and all beneath the sky. May coward shame disdain his name, the wretch that dare not die. Say rantingly, say wantonly, say dauntingly good he. He played a spring and danced it round below the gallows tree. And just to prove that Robert Burns could write in regular English, this next poem is called My Heart's in the Highlands, and you will understand every single word of it, okay? My heart's in the Highlands. My heart's in the Highlands, a-chasing the deer. My heart's in the Highlands, my heart is not here. A-chasing the wild deer and following the roe. My heart's in the Highlands, wherever I go. Farewell to the Highlands, farewell to the north, the birthplace of valor, the country of worth. Wherever I wander, wherever I rove, the hills of the Highlands forever I love. Farewell to the mountains high covered with snow. Farewell to the straths and green valleys below. Farewell to the forests and wild hanging woods. Farewell to the torrents and loud pouring floods. My heart's in the Highlands, my heart is not here. My heart's in the Highlands a-chasing the deer, a-chasing the wild deer and following the roe. My heart's in the Highlands, wherever I go. This next one, again, has to do with nature, only it's nature of a different sort. Robert Burns was sitting in church in 1786, it doesn't say exactly when, and there was a lady sitting in front of him wearing a big bonnet. And while he was listening to the sermon, and it doesn't exactly describe what the sermon was like, his mind began to wander, and he noticed the lady in front of him, that on her bonnet there was a louse, a head lice, climbing up the fatrals and lace of her bonnet. And he wrote a poem about it. He was so inspired, I guess the sermon must have been very boring, that he went home and wrote this poem, To a Louse, or in America we'd call it a cootie. But where are ye gone, ye crowling fairly? Your impudence protects ye sairly. I canna say but ye'd strunt rarely or gauze and lace, though faith, I fear ye dine but sparely on such a place. Ye ugly, creeping, blasted wonder, detested, shunned by saint and sinner, how dare ye set your foot upon her? Say, fine a lady, go somewhere else and seek your dinner on some poor body. Swith in some beggar's howfit squattle. There ye may creep and sprawl and sprattle wi' other jumping kindred cattle in shoals and nations, where horn nor bane ne'er dare unsottle your thick plantations. Now haud ye there, you're out of sight, below the fattrels snug and tight. Now faith ye yet, you'll no be right till you've got on it the very top most towering height o' Mrs. Bonnet. My sooth, right bold you set your nose out, as plump and grey as any groset. Oh, for some rank mercurial roset or fell red smedum, I'd gie ye such a hearty dose of it would dress your drodum. I wouldn't have been surprised to spy you on some old wife's flinen toy, or sablin's some bit dubby boy on's wileycoat. But Miss Lunardi's fine, Miss Fine Lunardi, fie, how dare ye do it? Oh, Jenny, dinna toss your head and set your beasties all abroad. You little ken what cursed speed that blasty's making. They winks and finger ends I dread are notice taken. I would some power the gift to gie us, to see ourselves as others see us. It would from many a blunder free us and foolish notion, what airs and dress and gait would leave us, and even devotion. And finally, in this section, last night in Brentwood, the Scottish Society of Middle Tennessee had their annual Burns dinner. And at a Burns supper, as it's called, it is very traditional to serve haggis. And the haggis they serve there is actually very good. I didn't taste it last night because I wasn't there. I was elsewhere, but my wife was there, and John and Catherine were there, and Jean back there was there, and they had haggis last night. And a real haggis is made from all the naughty bits and nasty bits of the animal that are left over, like the liver and the kidneys and any other bits and pieces that they don't eat. And they grind it all up, mix it up with oatmeal and all sorts of other stuff, and stick it in a sheep's stomach and boil it. That's a real haggis. Of course, the FDA would not approve that here in the USA, so it's produced a little more under stricter conditions than that. But it's very traditional at the Burns supper to have someone address the haggis, to get up in front of the haggis and actually talk to the haggis. And during the ceremony, the speaker also picks up a big knife and starts to slash the haggis, and it all starts to fall out. And it's really very good. But anyway, Burns wrote this poem, and it's called Address to the Haggis. Fair for your honest sonsy face, great chieftain o' the puddin' race, aboon them all ye tak your place, pench, tripe, or therm, weel are you worthy o' grace as long's my arm. The groaning trencher there ye fill, your hurdy's like a distant hill, your pen would help to mend a mill in time o' need, while through your pores the dews distill like amber bead. His knife, see rustic labour dight, and cut thee up wi' ready sleight, trenching your gushing entrails bright like ony ditch. And then, oh, what a glorious sight! Warm, reeking, rich. Then, horn for horn they stretch and strive, deal tak the hindmost on they drive, till all their wheels swell kites be live, or bent like drums, and then old Gidman maist like to rive, bethank it hums. Is there that o'er his French ragout, or olio would stow a sow, or fricassee would mak her spew wi' perfect scunner, looks down wi' sneering scornful view on such a dinner. Poor devil, see him o'er his trash, as feckless as a withered rash, his spindle shank a good whiplash, his nieve a knit, throw bloody flood or field to dash, oh, how unfit. But mark the rustic, haggis fed, the trembling earth resounds his tread, clapped in his wally nieve a blade, he'll make it whistle, and arms and legs and hands will sned, like taps of thistle. Ye powers, wha mak mankind your care, and dish them out their bill of fare. Old Scotland wants need skinking ware that jumps in luggies, but if you wish her grateful prayer, gie her a haggis. Now we get to the selection of love songs. The first one, Duncan Gray, Come Here to Woo. Duncan Gray comes to visit Maggie. Maggie will have none of him, so Duncan gets rather despondent. She becomes sick. He feels sorry for her, and they end up happily ever after. Duncan Gray, Come Here to Woo. Duncan Gray, come here to woo. Ha, ha, the wooing note on Blythe you'll nicht when we were fou. Ha, ha, the wooing note. Maggie kissed her heat foo high, looked a sglint and dunk a sky. The Arpo Duncan stand a by. Ha, ha, the wooing note. Duncan fleeched and Duncan prayed, ha, ha, the wooing note. Meg was deaf as Ailsa Craig, ha, ha, the wooing note. Duncan sighed baith out and in, gratis in baith bleart and blin. Spak all up in our allin, ha, ha, the wooing note. Time and chance are but a tide, ha, ha, the wooing note. Slighted love is certain bide, ha, ha, the wooing note. Shall I like a full quahy for a haughty hezzy? She may go to France for me, ha, ha, the wooing note. How it comes let doctors tell, ha, ha, the wooing note. Meg grew sick as he grew hale, ha, ha, the wooing note. Something in her bosom rings, for relief a sigh she brings, and oh, her in they spark sick things. Ha, ha, the wooing note. Duncan was a lad o' grace, ha, ha, the wooing note. Maggie's was a piteous case, ha, ha, the wooing note. Duncan could not be her death, swelling pity smothered his wrath. No, they're crouse and canty both. Ha, ha, the wooing note. And one of Robert Burns' most famous love songs, My Love Has Got a Big Red Nose. Sorry, My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose. She doesn't have a big red nose. My love is like a red, red rose, till all the seas gang dry. It's a very, very poignant love song. Oh, my love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love is like a melody that's sweetly played in tune. As fair art thou, my only love, so deep in love am I, and I will come until, my dear, till all the seas gang dry. Till all the seas gang dry, my dear, till all the seas gang dry. And I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas gang dry. Till all the seas gang dry, my love, and the rocks melt with the sun, and I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands o' life shall run. But fare thee will, my only love, oh, fare thee will a while, and I will come again, my love, though 'twere 10,000 miles. Though 'twere 10,000 miles, my love, though 'twere 10,000 miles, and I will come again, my love, though 'twere 10,000 miles. Afton water flow gently, sweet Afton. The river Afton flows near where Burns was born, and he wrote this song about all the birds singing, and while his sweetheart is sleeping, and how they need to keep things quiet so as not to disturb her. Flow gently, sweet Afton. Flow gently, sweet Afton, among thy green braes. Flow gently, sweet river, the scene of thy praise. My Mary's asleep by thy murmuring stream. Flow gently, sweet Afton, disturb not her dream. Thou stock dove whose echo resounds through the glen, ye wild whistling blackbirds in yon thorny den. Thou green-crested lapwing, thy screaming forbear. I charge you, disturb not my slumbering fair. Thy crystal stream, Afton, how lovely it glides, and winds by the cot where my Mary resides. How wanton thy waters her snowy feet lave, as gathering sweet flowers she stems thy clear wave. Flow gently, sweet Afton, among thy green braes. Flow gently, sweet river, the theme of my lays. My Mary's asleep by thy murmuring stream. Flow gently, sweet Afton, disturb not her dream. This next song is a little strident, but it's still a love song, but it's about an older couple who have been remembering the days they spent in their youth, and how even now, as they stagger down, as it says in the song, they will sleep together at the foot, meaning that in the grave, when their time comes, because their love is so strong. John Anderson, My Jo. Jo in Scotland means sweetheart. J-O. John Anderson, my Jo, John, when we were first acquaint, your locks were like the raven, your bonny brow was brent. But now you're turning old, John, your locks are like the snow, but blessings on your frosty pow. John Anderson, my Jo. John Anderson, my Jo, John, we climb the hill together, and many a canty day, John, we had wi' ane another. Now we mun stagger doon, John, but hand in hand we'll go, and we'll sleep together at the foot. John Anderson, my Jo. And the last of the love songs, Ye Banks and Braes o' Bonnie Doon, is a story about a gentleman whose sweetheart has, or rather, yes, gentleman, because it's a guy singing. Sometimes it's depending on the gender of the person singing it, they change the words around, but I'm going to say she at the end instead of he. It's about a lady who has jilted her boyfriend and how he's very unhappy about it. And how he pulls a rose, and she leaves, and all she leaves with him is the thorn. Ye banks and braes o' bonny Doon, how can ye bloom sae fresh and fair? How can ye chant, ye little birds, and I sae weary fu' o' care? You'll break my heart, ye warbling bird, that wanton through the flowery thorn. Ye remind me, O departed joys, departed never to return. Oft hae I roved by bonny Doon to see the rose and woodbine twine, and ilka bird sang o its love, and fondly so did I o mine. Wi' lightsome heart I pulled a rose full sweet upon its thorny tree. But my false lover stole my rose, and she left the thorn with me. This next poem is a little long, takes about 10 minutes. And I haven't done this in several years, but it's a tale of, well, it says here, brownies and bogles, full as this book, and things that go bump in the night. Tam O'Shanter. Tam O'Shanter was a drouthy crony of Suitor Johnny, and they used to get together and drink in the town of Ayr, and then Tam would make his way home on his horse Meg, and of course he was much the worse for the ale and beer and whiskey, Uskabe, the water of life, that he had been drinking, and he gets into a little bit of trouble when he passes the old haunted church at Alloway, and the church is there. You can actually go visit the old church at Alloway, where Burns actually based this poem on. And it's very close to the River Doon, and the old Humpback Bridge is still there, where the witches are supposedly supposed to have chased Tam O'Shanter, but didn't cross the stream because they cannot cross a running water. Anyway, Tam O'Shanter. When chapman billies leave the street, and drouthy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late, and folk begin to tack the gate, while we sit boozing at the nappy and getting fou and unca happy, we think not on the long Scots miles, the mosses, waters, slaps and stiles, that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky, sullen dame, gathering her brows like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. This truth found honest Tam O'Shanter, as he for Ayr one night did canter, all Ayr, where ne'er a town surpasses, for honest men and bonny lasses. O Tam, had thou but been sae wise, and ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice, she told thee weel thou was a skellum, a blethering, blustering, drunken blellum, that frae November till October, each market day thou wasna sober, that every melder with a miller, thou sat as long as thou had silver. And every nag was caught a shoe on, the smith and thee got roaring fou on. And even at the Lord's house, even on Sunday, thou drank wi' Kirkton Jean till Monday. She prophesied that late or soon thou would be found deep drowned in Doon, or catched wi' warlocks in the murk of Alloway's old haunted kirk. Ah, gentle dames, it gars me greet to think how many counsels sweet, how many lengthened sage advices the husband frae the wife despises. But to our tale. One market night, Tam had got planted, unca right, fast by an ingle blazing finely, wi' reaming swats that drank divinely, and at his elbow, Suitor Johnny, his ancient, trusty, drouthy crony. Tam loved him like a very brother. They had been fou for weeks together. The night drove on with songs and clatter, and aye the ale was growing better. The landlady and Tam grew gracious, with secret favours sweet and precious. The suitor told his queerest stories. The landlord's laugh was ready chorus. The storm without might rear and rustle. Tam didna mind the storm a whistle. Care, mad to see a man sae happy, e'en drowned himself amang the nappy. As bees flee hame wi' lades o' treasure, the minutes winged their way wi' pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam was glorious, o'er a' the ills o' life victorious. But pleasures are like poppies spread. You seize the flower, its bloom is shed. Or like the snow falls in the river. A moment white, then melts forever. or like the borealis race that flit ere you can point their place, or like the rainbow's lovely form, evanishing amid the storm. Nae man can tether time nor tide. If the hour approaches, Tam must ride. That hour o' night's black arch the keystane, that dreary hour he mounts his beast in, and such a night he takes the road in, as ne'er poor sinner was abroad in. The wind blew as 'twould blown its last, the rattling showers rose on the blast, the speedy gleams the darkness swallowed, loud, deep, and long the thunder bellowed. That night a child might understand, the devil had business on his hand. Will mounted on his grey mare Meg, a better never lifted leg, Tam skelped on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whilst holding fast his gid blue bonnet, whilst crooning o'er some old Scots sonnet, whilst glowering round with prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. Kirk Alloway was drawing nigh, where ghosts and howlets nightly cry. By this time he was past the ford, where in the snow the chapman smothered, and past the birks and meikle stane, where drunken Charlie broke his neck bone, and through the winds and by the cairn, where hunters found the murdered bairn, and near the thorn above the well, where Mungo's mother hanged hersel. Before him Doon pours all her floods, the doubling storm roars through the woods, the lightnings flash from pole to pole, near and more near the thunders roll, when, glimmering through the groaning trees, Kirk Alloway seemed all ablaze. Through ilka bore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing. Inspiring, bold John Barleycorn, what dangers thou can make us scorn? Wi' tippenny we fear the devil, wi' whiskey we'll face the devil. The swatsy reamed in Tammy's noddle, fair play, he cared nae deals a boddle, but Maggie stood, right stare astonished, till by the heel and hand admonished, she ventured forward on the light, and wow, Tam saw an unca sight. Warlocks and witches in a dance, nae cotillion Brent knew fae France, but hornpipes, jigs, strathspies and reels, put life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker in the east, their sad old Nick, in shape o' beast, a toozy tyke, black, grim and large, to gie them music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and gart them skirl, till roof and rafters all did dirl. Coffins stood round like open presses, that showed the dead in their last dresses, and by some devilish cantrip sleight, each in its called hand held a light, by which heroic Tam was able to see upon the holy table a murderer's bones and gibbet irons, twa span lying, wee unchristened bairns, a thief new cutted frae a rape, with his last gasp his gob did gape, 5 tomahawks with blood red crusted, 5 scimitars with murder crusted, a garter that a babe had strangled, a knife a father's throat had mangled, whom his ain son o' life bereft. The grey hairs yet stuck to the heft, wi' marrow horrible and awful, which even to name would be unlawful. 3 lawyers' tongues turned outside in, wi' lies seemed like a beggar's cloot. 3 priests' hearts, rotten black as muck, lay stinking vile in every nook. As Tammy glowered, amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they set, they crossed, they cleekit, till ilka carlin swat and reekit, and coosed her duddies to the wark, and lickit at it in her sark. Now Tam, oh Tam, had they been queens, all plump and strapping in their teams, their sarks instead of creechy linen, been snow-white 1700 linen, their breeks o' mine, my only pair, that once were plush o' gid blue hair, I would have given them off my hurdies for one blink o' the bonny birdies. But withered beldams, auld and droll, rig-woody hags that would speen a foal, louping and flinging on a crummock, I wonder didn't it turn my stomach. But Tam kenned what was what fu brawly. There was one winsome wench and Wally, that night enlisted in the corps, lang after kenned on Carrick shore. For many a beast to dead she shot, and perished many a bonny boat, and shook baith meikle corn and bear, and kept the countryside in fear. Her cutty sark o' Paisley horn, that while a lassie she had worn in longitude, though sorely scanty, it was her best, and she was vaunty. Ah, little kenned thy reverend granny, that sark she coughed for her wee nanny, wi' 2 Scots 'twas all her riches, whatever had graced a dance o' witches. But here my muse her wing must core. Such flights are found beyond my power, to sing how Nanny Lappin flang. A supple jade she was and strong, and how Tam stood like one bewitched, and thought his very een enriched. Een Satan glowered and fidged through fain, and hotched and blew in might and main, till first one caper, then another. Tam tint his reason all together, and roars out, "Well done, cutty sark!" And in an instant, all was dark. And scarcely had he Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legion sallied. As bees buzz out wi' angry fyke, when plundering hordes assail their bike, as open poos his mortal foes, when pop she starts before their nose, as eager runs the market crowd, when catch the thief resounds aloud, so Maggie runs, the witches follow, wi' money and eldritch screech and hollow. Ah, Tam, they'll get thy fare, in hell they'll roast thee like a herring. In vain thy Kate awaits thy coming, Kate soon will be a woeful woman. Now do thy speedy utmost, Meg, and win the keystone o' the bridge. There at them thou thy tail may toss, a running stream they darena cross. But ere the keystone she could make, the faint o' tail she had to shake, for Nanny, far before the rest, hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with furious ettle. But little wished she Maggie's mettle. One spring brought off her master hale, but left behind her ain grey tail. The carlin caught her by the rump, and left poor Maggie scarce a stump. Now, while this truth o' tale we shall read, each man and mother's son take heed. Whene'er to drink you are inclined, or cutty sarks run in your mind, think, you may buy the joys our dear. Remember, Tam O'Shanter's mare. Robert Burns was not only a farmer, but he had many other sorts of jobs in his very short life. He was only 35 when he died. But he produced volumes of work. But at one point in his life, he was what was called an exciseman, or a tax collector. And the tax collectors were despised, as they are today, by the people who have to pay taxes. And Robert Burns wrote this song, "The deal's awa the exciseman, the devil's away with the exciseman. The devil has taken the exciseman, he wished." The deal come fiddling through the tune and danced awa the exciseman, and ilka wife cried old Mahoon, I wish you luck of your prizeman. The deal's awa, the deal's awa, deal's awa the exciseman. He's danced awa, he's danced awa, he's danced awa the exciseman. We'll mak our mutton, we'll brew our drink, we'll laugh and sing and rejoice, man. And money brought thanks to the muckle black deal that's danced awa the exciseman. The deal's awa, the deal's awa, deal's awa the exciseman. He's danced awa, he's danced awa, he's danced awa the exciseman. There's threesome reels and foursome reels, there's hornpipes and strathspiesman. But the best dance that e'er came to the land was the deal's awa the exciseman. The deal's awa, the deal's awa, deal's awa the exciseman. He's danced awa, he's danced awa, he's danced awa the exciseman. And finally, Robert Burns' great song of friendship, which has become an international standard all over the world, doesn't matter where you go. People know this song. They may not sing it in English, but they certainly do know the words, Auld Lang Syne. It literally translated means auld, meaning old, lang syne, long since, or since long ago, things from the past that we remember, or should remember, as we grow older, and as you know, we meet new friends, we should never forget our old friends. Unless, of course, you could have very valid reason for not wanting to forget your old friend. Anyway, Auld Lang Syne. And please join in. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of Auld Lang Syne? For Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne. twa he ran about the braes and pulled the gowans fine, but we've wandered many a weary foot sin Auld Lang Syne. For Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne. And here's a hand, my trusty friend, and gie's a hand o' thine, and we'll tak a recht ged wally wacht for Auld Lang Syne. For Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne. Thank you, Rick. Thank you all for coming. I hope it gave you a little taste of Robert Burns. Thank you.
Positive are you as a parent? Do you motivate your child by letting him know that he is loved and appreciated? Well, here's a fun quiz to help you measure your positive parenting. Now, for each of these questions, give yourself 5 points if it's something you usually do, and 0 if it's something you never do, and then a score anywhere in between. Are you ready? Here's question number 1. I compliment my child more than I criticize him. Number 2, I tell my child I believe in him. Number 3, I say I love you every day. Number 4, I praise my child's effort when he tries hard, even if he fails. And number 5, I remind him of his past accomplishments. How did you score? Well, if you scored 15 to 20, it means you're a pretty positive parent. Anywhere around 15 means you're average, and below that means you may want to try some of these ways to let your child know that you love them and appreciate them. Remember, stay connected. You're the vital link in your child's school success. I'm Joan Tidwell, and this is Parent Connection.